Hey, it's B. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a crisis in the American heartland. The breadbasket of the world is in trouble. Farmers are watching their crops, investments, and futures wither away. 7 major crops: tomatoes, lettuce, strawberries, onions, peppers, potatoes, and apples are rotting in the fields. In a nation where millions go hungry, mountains of food are being lost. Is American agriculture collapsing? Let's dig into why these crops are in peril and what it means for all of us. Let's start with tomatoes, a staple in kitchens everywhere, from salads to sauces and a symbol of summer's bounty. But behind every juicy tomato is a hidden struggle. The biggest problem? Labor. Harvesting tomatoes is tough, hands-on work that can't be automated by machines, no matter how advanced technology gets. Stricter immigration policies and fewer willing workers have left fields unpicked, with growers scrambling to find enough hands for the harvest. A ripe tomato has a tiny window for harvest, just a few days. Miss it, and the fruit rots right on the vine, turning from profit to loss almost overnight. Even when tomatoes are picked, labor shortages hit trucking and processing too, causing delays that can ruin entire shipments before they ever reach the store. The cost of labor has soared, making it unprofitable to harvest at all for some farmers. Many are forced to make heartbreaking decisions about which fields to leave behind. Farmers invest huge sums, money, time, and hope, only to watch their crops rot in the fields, powerless to stop the losses. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet, they're family farms, legacies built over generations, now at risk of disappearing forever. The supply chain is so fragile that a single delay, whether in the field, on the road, or at the plant, can wipe out a season's work and income. Each wasted tomato is a symptom of a system under strain, a reminder of how close we are to losing more than just a crop. The risks and mounting pressures are pushing people out of farming altogether, leaving fewer families to carry on the tradition. This isn't just about pizza sauce or ketchup, it's about the future of American food, and whether we can keep these staples on our tables. The tomato story is a warning. Labor shortages, broken logistics, and harsh economics are squeezing farmers from every side, threatening the food system we all depend on. Fields of red are turning into fields of waste, as perfectly good food is left to rot. The crisis is bigger than any one crop. It's a sign of a system in trouble and a call to action for all of us who care about where our food comes from. Lettuce, the base of salads everywhere, faces a double threat: wild weather and wild markets. This humble green, so often taken for granted on our plates, is at the mercy of forces far beyond the farmer's control. California's salad bowl swings from drought to floods, making planning impossible. One season, the fields are parched and cracked. The next, they're underwater, leaving growers scrambling to adapt. Droughts stunt growth, shrinking heads and yields. Floods drown crops and spread disease, wiping out months of hard work in just days. Even with a good harvest, prices can crash if there's too much lettuce. A glut on the market means farmers might not even cover their costs. Sometimes it costs more to harvest than the crop is worth. The math just doesn't add up, leaving farmers with tough choices. Farmers plow under perfect lettuce to avoid losing money. Perfectly edible crops are destroyed, not because of quality, but because the economics don't work. Food safety scares, like E. coli outbreaks, can tank the market overnight, even if your crop is safe. One headline can erase months of effort and investment. A single scare can leave fields full of lettuce unsellable. Farmers watch as their hard work is left to rot, powerless to change the outcome. The system punishes both scarcity and abundance. When there's too little, shelves go empty. When there's too much, prices collapse and waste soars. Lettuce growers are forced to gamble with nature and the market, never knowing if this season will bring profit or loss, hope or heartbreak. The result? Rotting fields, not from neglect, but from a system that can't provide stability. The cycle repeats, year after year, with no easy solution in sight. The story of lettuce is a lesson in how unpredictable and unforgiving our food system has become. Behind every head of lettuce is a story of risk, resilience, and uncertainty. It's a high-wire act with no safety net, where every step is a gamble, and the stakes are nothing less than survival for America's farmers. Strawberries, delicate, sweet, and incredibly fragile. Their vibrant color and juicy flavor make them irresistible, but these very qualities also make them one of the most challenging fruits to bring from farm to table. Their short shelf life means any delay is disastrous. Within just a day or two, strawberries can go from perfect to spoiled, leaving little room for error at any stage. Labor shortages mean berries go unpicked and rot in the field. When there aren't enough hands to harvest, entire rows of fruit are left to waste, despite months of hard work. Even when picked, strawberries need immediate cooling and fast refrigerated transport. Every minute counts, as warmth accelerates spoilage and reduces shelf life even further. Trucking delays or equipment failures can destroy entire shipments. A single breakdown can mean thousands of pounds of fruit lost before reaching the store. Rising fuel costs and a lack of drivers make things worse. The journey from farm to market is becoming more expensive and uncertain, putting extra pressure on everyone involved. If a buyer rejects a shipment for minor flaws, farmers are left with tons of unsellable fruit. Even a small blemish can mean the difference between profit and loss. Finding new buyers for perishable berries is nearly impossible. The clock is always ticking, and most markets simply can't absorb the sudden surplus. Sometimes truckloads are dumped because there's no other option. Perfectly edible fruit ends up as waste, a heartbreaking outcome for growers and consumers alike. The strawberry's fragility exposes the brittleness of our just-in-time food system. One small disruption can ripple through the entire chain, causing massive losses. When logistics falter, the most perishable crops are lost first. Strawberries are often the first casualties, highlighting the system's vulnerability. Each wasted berry is a warning about our overcomplicated supply chain. The loss is not just economic, but also environmental and emotional. The strawberry is the canary in the coal mine for American agriculture. Its fate signals deeper issues that threaten the future of our food. When the system stumbles, the losses are immediate and heartbreaking. For farmers, each spoiled berry represents lost income and dashed hopes. It's a sweet fruit, but a bitter story, a reminder of how fragile abundance can be and how much is at stake with every harvest. Onions. Tough, storable, and now, a victim of their own abundance. Farmers, chasing last year's high prices, planted too many. The result? A glut so big that prices crashed below the cost of harvest. It now costs more to dig up and ship onions than they're worth. Many farmers leave onions in the ground to avoid deeper losses. Warehouses are full, and there are no buyers, even at rock-bottom prices. Imported onions add to the oversupply, making things worse. Giant piles of onions rot in the open, a monument to market failure. Farmers are punished for being too productive. The onion story shows that even non-perishable crops can become worthless overnight. It's not a crisis of scarcity, but of abundance gone wrong. The system for valuing and distributing food is broken. Productivity should be rewarded, not bankrupted. The onion fields are a stark lesson in the dangers of a mismanaged market. Peppers, colorful, flavorful, and facing a crisis of labor and logistics. Harvesting peppers is hands-on work. Machines can't do it without damaging the crop. Labor shortages mean fields go unpicked and ripe peppers spoil. Even after harvest, transportation is a major hurdle. Truck delays and high fuel costs degrade quality and cut profits. A late shipment can mean a lower price or outright rejection. Farmers are at the mercy of a supply chain they can't control. Sudden changes in buyer demand leave specialty crops unsellable. Peppers left to rot are a sign of a supply chain full of clogs and leaks. The disconnect between farm and table is growing. Farmers bear the cost of every breakdown in the system. Potatoes. Versatile, storable, and now, stuck in a storage crisis. Most potatoes are grown for food service, fries, chips, and processed foods. When restaurants and schools closed, demand vanished, and the backlog began. Storage sheds are full, leaving no room for new harvests. Farmers face a terrible choice. Leave potatoes in the ground or lose money digging them up. Donating helps, but food banks can't handle the massive volume. The financial hit is devastating. Multi-generational farms are at risk. The potatoes problem is a rigid supply chain built for predictability. When disruption hits, the system breaks instead of bending. The potato, once a symbol of food security, is now a casualty of inflexible logistics. It's a powerful reminder that even the most reliable crops aren't immune. The irony is painful. Abundance wasted for lack of space. Our food system needs to adapt, or more crops will be left behind. Apples, iconic, nutritious, and now, left hanging on the trees. Harvesting apples is skilled, labor-intensive work, and workers are scarce. Without enough hands, apples overripen and fall, wasted. Export markets, once a lifeline, are snarled by shipping chaos and high costs. Delays mean apples miss their window, buyers cancel, and prices drop. Trade disputes and tariffs can close off entire markets overnight. Farmers are caught in a web of local labor shortages and global trade battles. Apples rot in orchards and storage, victims of problems far beyond the farm. The crisis shows how interconnected and vulnerable our food system is. A labor shortage at home, a shipping jam abroad, or a political spat can ruin a season. The apple's story is a snapshot of a system under stress. The orchard is where global problems become heartbreakingly local. So, what now? The crisis in American agriculture is real and urgent. Labor shortages, supply chain chaos, wild weather, and volatile markets are pushing farmers to the brink. The food we lose in the fields is the real story behind empty shelves. Solutions won't be easy, but we're not powerless. Support local farmers, buy direct, and stay informed. Shorter, resilient supply chains start with us. The sight of rotting crops is tragic, but it can spark change.